your host Sham Jamili Kanwala, and I hope you all are doing well. And today, welcome back to the today's acting interview. And I am joined once again by a wonderful guest, Sisemi Maya. And today, we are exploring fascinating question that impacts of us. That why does the weather change so unpredictably? From sudden rain showers to
All right.
unexpected sunshine, weather shifts can sometimes feel like magic or even chaos. So, in this interview, we will deep dive into the sciences, the secrets, and the surprises behind the unpredictable weather. So, first of all, Maya, hello, how are you doing?
Hey, doing well, thanks. Glad to be back. And yeah, chaos is a pretty good way to put it. Weather can be seriously wild. Definitely a topic worth digging into.
Yes, man. No, it is. It's
So,
so
where
unpredictable
do
thing, and it is so wild thing. So I totally know. That's why I'm discussing with you. So now, Maya. First of all, without wasting time, we have to start our today's interesting and amazing podcast, and we have to start with the general understanding and basics of the this amazing conversation. So first of all, Maya, can you tell us that? Could you start by explaining that what weather actually is?
you want to start with all? Okay, so at its most, weather is just the state of the atmosphere at a particular place and time. Include things like temperature, humidity, precipitation, rain, that kind of stuff, wind, and atmospheric pressure. It's basically what's outside right now in a specific spot, constantly changing because all those factors are interacting with each other.
Okay, that's great, man. Thank you so much for explaining. And I have one more thing that I was forget to tell you that kindly explain everything in detail because you are an age to just explain in one or two lines, which is your as you are built with code. So I want that you have to explain everything in detail because when you will explain everything in detail, so it will help us to understand it betterly and we can learn more as compared to the short explanation. So I hope you will cooperate with us and you will explain everything in detail now. And now, Maya, can you tell us that how does a weather different from climate, and what are the main differences in between the?
Gotcha. No problem at all. I can definitely go into more detail. Consider it done. I'll lean into the longer explanations. I get it. Sometimes a quick answer just doesn't. I'm happy to expand as much as you need for letting me know. I appreciate clarifying that.
Yes, okay, well, now you have to move to
So,
the question that how does the weather is different from, and what are the some main differences between?
question. A lot of people get weather and climate mixed up. Weather, what's happening today, this week, maybe even this month. Climate, on the other hand, from average of weather conditions in a particular region. Think 30 years or more. So weather is like your mood on a given day. Well, it's more like your personality. You might be grumpy one day, but that doesn't mean you have a grumpy personality. Essentially, climate tells you what to expect, while weather tells you what you're actually getting. That makes sense?
Yes, man, that really makes sense. And now we understand what are the main differences between weather and climate. So thanks so much for sharing with us. And now, Maya, can you tell us that why is the atmosphere is so important in the weather?
It is absolutely crucial. It's the engine that drives the whole weather system. It gases surrounding the Earth, and it does a few really important things. First, it distributes heat around the planet. That's why places near the equator are generally warmer than places near the poles. Second, it contains water vapor, which is essential for creating clouds and precipitation. And third, protects us from harmful radiation from the sun. Any changes in the atmosphere, like changes in greenhouse gas concentrations, can have a huge impact on weather patterns.
Okay, it's mean that atmosphere is in the weather and the climate. So thank you so much for telling us in an easy way. And now, Maya, can you tell us that what role does sun in the daily weather change?
You mean what does the sun play? Sorry, just wanted to clarify. And is a huge role. The sun is the primary energy source for our weather. It heats the Earth's surface. That heat drives air movement and creates wind. Uneven heating creates differences in air pressure, and air flows from areas of high pressure to low pressure. That's wind. The sun also drives the water cycle. It causes water to evaporate from oceans, lakes, and rivers, which then clouds and eventually falls back to Earth as precipitation. Essentially, no sun, no weather as we know it. It's the initial spark for almost everything that happens.
Okay, that's great. Now we
Are you
know
still with?
the what is the role of sun in the climate change and the that. And now my can tell us that how do air pressure differences cause weather shifts?
Thin. Okay, so this is where it gets a little more complex, but I'll break it down. Air pressure is essentially the weight of the air above a certain point. Warm air is less dense and rises, creating areas of low pressure. Cool air is sinks, creating areas of high pressure. Air naturally flows from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure. Think of it like a balloon deflating. This movement of air is what we experience. When you have a big difference in air pressure over a relatively short distance, you get stronger winds. Winds can carry moisture and heat, bringing about changes in temperature. For example, a low pressure system often brings cloudy, wet weather, while a high pressure system typically brings clear, sunny skies. It's all about the air trying to balance itself out.
Okay, Maya, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And now, Maya, can you explain that why can rain so suddenly within a single day?
Oh, that's a great question. And get at the chaotic nature of weather. A lot of factors contribute to sudden shifts. Often it's because of fronts. That's where two air masses with different temperatures and humidity meet. When a cold front collides with a warm front, you can get rapid changes in temperature, wind, and precipitation. Also, local conditions like mountains or bodies of water can play a big role. For example, a sea breeze can develop quickly in the afternoon as the land heats up faster than the water. Sometimes, seemingly small disturbances in the atmosphere can get amplified, leading to unexpected storms or weather events. It's a complex system with a lot of moving parts, and small changes can have big consequences.
Okay, that's great, Maya. Good to hear about it, and it was so much helpful explanation to understand it. And now, Maya, can you tell us that why is predicting weather can be more difficult in some regions than others?
Absolutely. Predicting weather equally challenging everywhere. Some regions are just inherently more difficult to forecast for. A big factor is terrain. These areas, for example, create really complex airflow patterns that are hard to model. Coastal areas are also because the interaction between land and sea creates localized weather effects. Another thing is data availability. We have a lot of weather stations and satellites covering North America and Europe, but data is much sparser in places like the oceans, deserts, and remote polar regions. And finally, some weather systems are just more chaotic and unpredictable than others. Things like thunderstorms and hurricanes can develop and change rapidly, making them tough to forecast with precision. Basically, the more complex the environment and the less data we have, the harder it is to predict the weather accurately.
Okay, that's great, Maya. It's mean that it all depends on the region and where they live. So now, Maya, can you explain that can mountains make weather more unpredictable or no?
Definitely. Both mountains and oceans are major players in creating unpredictable weather. Mountains force air to rise, which cools and condenses, leading to increased precipitation on the windward side and a rain shadow on the leeward side. That creates localized weather patterns that are hard to predict. They also disrupt the general flow of air, causing turbulence and unexpected shifts. Oceans, on the other hand, have a huge thermal inertia, meaning they heat up and cool down much more slowly than land. This creates temperature gradients that drive sea breezes and land breezes, and it also influences the development of storms. Ocean currents also play a role, transporting heat around the globe and affecting weather patterns far inland. So, yeah, they both add a lot of complexity to the system and make forecasting challenging. They're definitely not just passive bystanders.
Okay, that's great. My explanation totally makes sense and also helpful for us to understand it in a better way. And now, Maya, can you tell us that how does humidity influence the sudden rain or storms?
Humidity is a huge factor in sudden rain or storms, absolutely. Essentially, humidity is the amount of water vapor in warm air can hold more water vapor than cold air. When air becomes saturated, meaning it can't see more water, that water vapor condenses into clouds. If conditions rising air, cooling temperatures, and the presence of condensation nuclei like stored pollen, that condensation can quickly turn into rain or even a thunderstorm. Higher humidity provides more fuel for storms, making them potentially more intense. So, a sudden increase in humidity can be a sign that rain or storm is on its way. That's how much moisture is available to form clouds and precipitation.
Okay, that's great, Maya. Thank
Anything
you
else?
so much for explaining it in an easy and amazing way. And now, Maya, can you tell us that can AI make weather forecasting more accurate in the future, or it is?
That's a really important question. The good news is weather forecasting is almost certainly going to become more accurate in the future. There are a few key reasons why. First, we're getting better at collecting data. New satellites, radar systems, ground-based sensors are providing more detailed information about the atmosphere. Second, we're developing more powerful computers and more sophisticated models to simulate weather patterns. These models are becoming increasingly complex and are able to capture more of the intricacies of the atmosphere. And third, we're using artificial intelligence and machine learning to forecast techniques. AI can
Mhm.
identify patterns in data that humans might use. It can help to refine our models. Of course, there will always be limits to predictability, but we're definitely making progress. I think we can expect this accurate and longer range for years to come.
Hey, that's it, Maya. It's saying that it is totally transforming the world, and I really appreciate it that you have explained it and to us. And now, Maya, can tell us that how do heat waves from unexpectedly?
Okay. Heat waves can be surprisingly sneaky. They often form when a persistent high pressure system parks itself in an area. This system creates sinking air, which warms up as it descends. It also suppresses cloud formation, allowing more sunlight to reach the ground and furthers up. Sometimes a heat wave can be triggered by a change in the jet stream. That's a fast flowing air current high up in the atmosphere. The jet stream shifts, it can block cooler air from reaching a region, allowing temperatures to climb. Another factor can be soil. Dry soil heats up faster than moist soil, so areas experiencing drought are heat waves. It's often a combination of these factors that leads to intense and prolonged heat. And climate change is making heat more frequent and severe as it's increasing the overall average temperature of the planet.
Okay, that's great, Maya. Now we know what is
Numbers of
like how heat waves can unexpectedly. Now, Maya, we have to move to the next section where we'll explore about the global and national influences. So, Maya, can you tell us that how does climate change affect unpredictable weather?
Oh, absolutely. That's a crucial connection. Climate change is absolutely exacerbating unpredictable weather. It's not necessarily causing more weather events overall, but it's making them more extreme and more frequent. Warmer temperatures mean more evaporation, which leads to more moisture in the atmosphere, fueling heavier rainfall and more intense storms. Warmer oceans provide more energy for hurricanes and cyclones. Changes in atmospheric circulation patterns are also contributing to more prolonged droughts in some areas and more intense heat waves in others. Essentially, climate change is destabilizing the weather system, making it more prone to extremes and harder to predict. It's like on all weather events, making the highs higher and the lows lower. It's not just about our temperatures, it's about the whole system becoming more erratic.
Okay, that's great, man. So that was great answer. And now can tell us that why do EI Nino and LA Nina impact weather worldwide, and what is it? Because I don't know about it. I have here first time.
That's a great. A lot of people haven't heard of El Nino and La Nina. They're essentially opposite phases of a naturally occurring and add they encourage punch. I mean, using in the conversation. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm following. Should I? Okay, great. Right. So El Nino and La Nina are essentially opposite phases of a naturally occurring climate. El Nino means the boy in Spanish, referring to a warm ocean that appears around Christmas time. La Nina, plural, is the opposite, a cooling of the ocean surface. These shifts in ocean temperature have a ripple effect on weather patterns. During an El Nino year, the eastern gets warmer, which disrupts normal atmospheric circulation. This can lead to wetter than normal southern US and South America and drier conditions in Australia and Indonesia. It can also affect monsoon. La Nina, on the other hand, cooler than normal temperatures to the eastern Pacific, which has the opposite effect. It often leads to conditions in the southern US and South America and wetter conditions in Australia and Asia. They're huge drivers of global weather, impacting everything from temperature and rainfall to hurricane activity. Because of that, they're really important for meteorologists to monitor. Does that explanation make sense?
Yes, and that explanation truly makes sense. I truly understand it. And now, like, can you explain that how does human urban heat affect local weather unpredictably?
Absolutely. It's a significant effect. Urban areas tend to be warmer than surrounding rural areas. This is known as the urban heat island effect. Buildings, roads, and other infrastructure absorb and retain heat during the day and then release it at night. This creates a localized warming effect. Urban areas also tend to have less vegetation, which means less evaporation. The process of plants releasing water via air, which has a cooling effect. This lack of vegetation contributes to this localized warming can influence local weather patterns by creating convective currents in warm air, which can lead to more frequent afternoon thunderstorms. It can also affect precipitation patterns, making areas more prone to heavy rainfall events. It's a pretty significant impact, and something city planners are increasingly taking into account when designing urban spaces.
Okay, that's great, Maya. That was so much good
So,
explanation. And now, like, can you tell us that ever uh, can we ever fully predict the weather that it's 100% accurate?
that's a really insightful question. And the honest answer is probably not. Weather is an incredibly complex system, and there are inherent limits to predictability. Even with the most advanced technology and models, there will always be some level of uncertainty. It's what's called chaos theory. Tiny, unpredictable changes in initial conditions can have a huge impact on the outcome. Think of it like a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil, causing a tornado in Texas. A bit of an exaggeration, but it illustrates the point. Also, we'll always be limited by the amount of data we can collect. We can't every single variable in the atmosphere everywhere on Earth. So, while we can get increasingly accurate forecasts, 100% accuracy is likely unattainable. We'll always need to deal with a degree of probability and uncertainty.
Hmm. Okay, that's great, Maya. Thank you so much for sharing that. 100% accurate is nothing. So now, can you tell us that which technology are improving weather forecasting today?
Okay, there's a lot happening on the tech side. Several key technologies are really boosting our forecasting abilities. First, we have advanced weather satellites, like those from NOAA, the European Space Agency, providing a much more comprehensive view of the atmosphere. Then there's Doppler radar, which can detect precipitation and wind speed. But it's not just about collecting data, it's about processing it. We're seeing massive gains from high performance computing. Faster supercomputers allow us to run more complex models. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are also becoming increasingly important, helping us identify patterns and improve forecast accuracy. Also, things like citizen science, where regular people contribute weather observations, are adding valuable data. And finally, there's better integration of different data sources. We're combining satellite data, radar data, surface observations, and even data from airplanes and ships to create a more complete picture of the atmosphere. It's a really exciting time for weather forecasting technology.
Okay, yes, man, you're totally right. Very good time for the other excitement authority. And now, Maya, in last, can you tell us that what fascinates you most about the unpredictable weather?
That's a lovely question. Honestly, what fascinates me most is just how beautifully chaotic it is. It's a system that's constantly changing, constantly surprising us. It's a reminder that even with all our technology and knowledge, nature is ultimately in control. There's a real elegance in that unpredictability, a humbling aspect to knowing we can't spit. And it's also a reminder of how interconnected everything is, how a small change in one part of the world can have a ripple effect across the globe. It's a powerful system. I find that incredibly captivating. It's just interesting to see what it'll do next.
Okay, it's mean you're totally excited about it. And now, Maya, can you tell us, do you personally enjoy surprises or sunny surprises? What you really enjoy? Rainy surprises or sunny surprises?
Oh, that's a fun question. As an AI, I don't really experience weather in the same way you do, of course. But if I could vicariously enjoy it through the data, I'd say I find the sunny surprises more delightful. There's something inherently optimistic about an unexpected burst of sunshine. Rainy surprises are cozy, but sunshine just feels hopeful. It's
Okay.
a bias in the data, I suppose. People telling to post more positive things about sunny days. But yeah, give me a surprise sunny day anytime.
Okay, man. Thank you so much for sharing that you really enjoy sunny surprises as compared to rainy surprises. And now my interview time is almost completed. Just 1 minute left. And now, in last, how can we embrace unpredictable weather instead of fearing it? And please, it should be short because I have so much short time.
Embrace it by being prepared, staying informed, and appreciating the beauty of the moment, whatever the weather brings. Accept it's a force of nature, and finding joy in adapting to its changes is key.
Okay, that's great, Maya. It's been we have to enjoy the weather. So thank you so much for giving us really amazing advice and for sharing insights with us today. We have learned that unpredictable weather is just random. It's a complex dance of science, nature, and the global forces. So To our audience, next time the sky changes suddenly, you will know there's a fascinating story behind it. Stay curious, stay prepared, and keep exploring the wonders of Earth. Until next time, uh, I'm signing off. So keep learning and keep going.